Good morning, everybody. I want to welcome you warmly to our Winter Solstice celebration today. Everyone is welcome here. You are welcome here regardless of your age, your race, your income, your religion, or the gender with which you identify. You are welcome here regardless of who you love, who you vote for, the regrets that burden you, or the mistakes you have made. In this safe community, we support each other in the sacred task of becoming, celebrate the transcending mystery of life, and rely on the transforming power of love. Here, we revere the words of the great teachers such as Jesus, the Buddha, and Confucius. It is, however, the task of every you to be their own Buddha, their own Jesus, their own Confucius. It is a cornerstone of our religion that each of us is the author of their own life experience, and through the practice of compassionate mind, we can heal our bodies, our minds, our spirits, and our planet. It is our work as a community to walk with each other along the spiritual pathways that lead towards happiness, compassion, and life fully lived. And while we are a safe harbor where there is solace and healing, we are also a launching pad from which we are propelled into the tumult of life to live courageously, justly, and lovingly. In this sacred place, we create the structures that lift up the downtrodden, set the captives free, and heal the brokenhearted. Here we have learned that to be fully human is to be fully divine, and that with a little help from our friends, we can each tell our own unique story. One of the ways in which we engage in the sacred task of becoming and celebrate the transcending mystery of life is through ritual and ceremony, like the one we're participating in today. This week, December 21st, is the winter solstice in the Northern Hemisphere, the first official day of winter, the day with the longest amount of darkness in the year. After this time, the days will slowly begin to grow in daylight, and so today we celebrate the return of the light to our corner of the earth. Ritual and ceremony provide us an opportunity to connect with each other as we sing songs together, hear and say powerful words together, and maybe best of all, feast together. We are reminded that we are a part of each other. We are a community and we need each other. We connect with the natural world around us as we ground ourselves in this season and tune in to what it has to teach us. A chance to rest and slow down, to enjoy the snow and the cold, to be present where and when we are. And we connect with ourselves as we are invited to turn inward and reflect, to sit with the dark parts of ourselves and not be afraid, for the darkness is a necessary part of life and the light will always return.
I'm going to call the 4 directions. And as I do, we're all going to stand up and turn and face that direction as it's called. Okay, and I have been instructed on the directions and where they are, so just follow me. In the pagan tradition, which is grounded in a respect and reverence for the natural world, calling upon the 4 directions is the usual way to begin any ceremony. Each direction is associated with an element of the natural world and represents some part of our human nature as well. The directions are not seen as separate and isolated, but rather as part of the interdependent system that makes up the world. We will travel through the meanings associated with each direction before entering into a brief time of meditation. We begin in the east, toward the rising sun. The element of the east is air. Air and breath give us life. It is the direction of inspiration, the word that literally means to take in air. The east is associated with the mind, with knowledge and learning and intellectual curiosity. Imagine the birds turning and wheeling in the air. Imagine the breeze blowing through your hair. Turning toward the east, we look for a fresh start, an invigorating breath, a new idea. When you are feeling stuck in a rut, beholden to a routine, or if the wind has gone out of your sails, look eastward. We move around the wheel to the south. The element of the south is fire. Fire is a transformative force. It is heat and light and powerful change. In the northern hemisphere, it makes sense that we associate the south towards the equator with the warmth of the sun and the heat of the flame. We see birds move south, butterflies move south, whales move south, seeking warmer places when the weather gets cold. When our internal weather gets cold, turning south is a metaphor for turning toward warmth and daylight, seeking out the changes that will warm us up, get our blood moving, call us out of our winters, out of hibernation, into action. Continuing around the circle, we arrive in the west. The element of the west is water, symbolizing the way we come together in our community as individual drops join into a mighty river. In the west, we are drawn into the experience of our emotions. It is a direction that calls us to self-reflection and self-understanding. Our emotions move in us like water, flowing through our lives, sometimes calm and sometimes turbulent, but always flowing. When we dam up our feelings, just like we dam up a river, the pressure builds until it finds an outlet. If you are seeking to get in touch with your inner life, with your emotions, turn toward the west. We move now to the north. The element of the north is earth. There is stability here, the ground of our being. The north represents the place that holds us, that allows us time and space to heal and grow, to feel nurtured and respected. It is also the place of embodiment, of connecting with our physical self, with the concrete, tangible world around us. The north calls to you if you are seeking balance, the deep wisdom that lives in your bones, a place of rest and recovery. We have moved through these four directions, giving them shape and meaning. East, air, breath, and inspiration. South, fire, transformation, and action. West, water, feeling and reflection. And finally, north, earth, balance, and wisdom. Now I invite you to turn toward the direction that calls to you today. You can stay in your seat, you can stand, you can turn your whole head or your whole body, or just orient yourself in an inner way toward one of the directions, the element that speaks to you in your life right now. And let us now enter into a moment of silent meditation. Thank you.
Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening by Robert Frost. Whose woods these are, I think I know. His house is in the village, though. He will not see me stopping here to watch his words fill up with snow. My little horse must think it queer to stop without a farmhouse near. Between the woods and frozen lake, the darkest evening of the year. He gives his harness bells a shake to ask if there is some mistake. The only other sounds the sweep of easy wind and downy flake. The woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep.
My intention is to become tolerant of people I just don't understand.
So as a quickie off the top of my head, wishing for the light of wisdom, peace, health, and loving kindness.
So now, as I mentioned earlier, we have a very, very special story, short story written by Nan Lundeen, and it ties in very nicely with the winter solstice. It's called Snowy Owl's Message, and we just so happen to have some help from Aurelia here with her snowy owl. She's going to help with the story.
And another young person helped with this story. and that's Oliver, who, I don't know if you remember Oliver, but you read this quite a while ago and told your mom how it could be improved, and then your mom sent me an email, so I did my best to improve it. And thank you, Aurelia.
Oh, oh.
A gruff, wild voice calls. Helen knows that voice. It is Snowy Owl. He has a message for her. But what is it? She has heard him many cold nights while she lies snug in her bed. Does he know the answer to her question? She hears the question often from adults. Helen, what do you want to be when you grow up? She has no answer. Helen was named after her great-grandmother, who was strong and wise. Helen wants to grow up to be like her. What is the best way to be strong and wise? Helen lives in a land of snow and frozen ground next to the Arctic Ocean. Tonight it is dark and cold in Utqiagvik, Alaska. It is winter solstice, the first day of winter. Okay, if you look up at the map up there on the screen, the Utqiagvik is way up at the top there, and Beth has put a little arrow to show us. And then the other arrow, all the way down there, is where we live in St. Joseph, Michigan. This time of year in the far north, the sky turns pale twilight for a few hours each day, as if the sun were going to rise. But it does not. That's because in winter, the northern part of Earth tilts away from the sun. The sun has not risen for almost 2 months. Ho, ho. Helen thinks snowy owls are the most beautiful birds in the world. She loves their big yellow eyes and white feathers. She likes to think Snowy Owl is her friend. She snuggles up to her toy polar bear and buries her nose in his soft fur. She stares out the window at the stars winking in the blackness and thinks about the question. In school, her favorite subject is science, and what she learns about where she lives upsets her. Everything is changing because the land and water are warming. Many animals depend on Arctic sea ice that is melting. Walruses haul their huge bodies out of the water onto ice to rest. Polar bears sit on ice to watch for seals, their food. Snow is turning to rain, and rain will not provide safe dens for the tundra mice, which are the food of snowy owls. The Arctic wind prowls around the corners of the warm house where she lives with her parents. Her mind floats back to supper time. Helen pushed pieces of white fish around on her plate and ate only tiny bites. What's wrong, Helen? Her mom asked. Did you get a bad grade on a test? Her dad guessed. Helen shook her head. What is it? Helen's mom leaned over to brush her hair off her forehead. Are you sick? Helen sighed. I'm worried about the polar bears and walruses losing their sea ice, about the frozen land warming and all the changes coming so fast. The animals won't have time to change too, so they can stay alive. Helen's mom gave a great sigh and took her daughter's hand. Yes, Earth is warming quickly. It is a huge problem. Animals have adapted to the Arctic climate over millions of years. Speedy changes give them very little time to react. Helen's dad set down his fork. We have to better understand the animals of the Arctic to help them, he said. That's why your mom and I work at the research station. We are researching how to save the animals. What are you learning? Helen asked. I study how climate change affects the travels of caribou, her mom said. All life is interdependent like this. She folded the fingers of both hands together. For instance, some caribou moms are adapting to the warmer climate by having babies 2 weeks earlier. The problem is, will the plants that moms need to eat so that they can feed their young also appear earlier? Or maybe they will have to look for different food, Helen said. Maybe, her mom said. So to study caribou, we must study plants and weather and many things. And your dad is studying polar bears. Helen's dad leaned forward, smiling. We capture bear DNA from their footprints in the snow. Helen frowned. What is DNA? DNA is like the science story of what makes a bear, her dad answered. Helen smiled. A story from a footprint in the snow. She drifts off to sleep, thinking of her parents who love her and Arctic animals. An insistent, ho, ho, wakes her. She opens her eyes. Why are you calling? She whispers to Snowy Owl. When she turns to her window, she sees why. Like blessings, green, blue, and purple colors dance across the black dome of sky. She leaps out of bed, throws on her jacket, mittens, and boots, and tramps outside. All around her, she senses but cannot see the bears, the owls, the seals, the caribou, the walruses, the tundra mice. She wants to take hold of their paws, their flippers, their antlers, and dance with them, but she cannot because they are wild creatures and belong to the night. Great-grandmother loved the northern lights. Helen stands in the spot where they used to watch them together. She knows the lights, which fall like colorful curtains, are electrical particles that stream out from the sun and hit Earth's atmosphere. In December, they can be seen best near the North Pole. Tonight, great-grandmother's love feels strong, even though she died when Helen was 6. Helen wants to love the Arctic animals as much as great-grandmother loved her. If I study the animals like Mom and Dad, I can be wise and strong like you, great-grandmother, she whispers. I can't help the animals by myself, but working together with other people, we will make things better. Snow squeaks beneath her boots as Helen walks back inside the bed. She pulls warm blankets around her and snuggles up to her bear. Outside, Snowy Owl is quiet. When it is dark, Helen thinks, you can see the lights.
Okay, we're going to move on to the next part of our service. We are the New Moon Women's Circle, and we are going to read a Winter Solstice poem. And after each line, if everyone could please say, "The light is reborn." That'll be your response. In the greatest darkness, Out of winter's cold,
from our deepest fears, when we most despair,
when all seems lost, when the earth lies waste, when animals hide,
When the leaves are gone, the light is reborn. When the river is frozen, the light is reborn. When the ground is hard, shadows are fleeing. Light is returning.
Warmth will come again. The light is reborn. Summer will be here once more.
Plants will grow again. Animals will be seen once more.
Green will come again. The light is reborn. Life will continue. Light is reborn.
All right, these ladies, thank you very much. I'm going to take their seats, keep the lights off. All right, so this is going to be the culmination of our service. We have a couple of things. I'd like everyone, if you would please wear your ornament and have it turned to the sun side. And Beth is going to play us. So remember, our story took place in Alaska. There's very little light, so it's a really big deal when the light comes over the horizon. I think where Nan was talking about, it never even gets over the horizon, but we're going to show around Fairbanks, where I think they get 2 to 3 hours of light a day at this time of year. So when you see, Beth is going to have the light come up in Alaska, the sunrise on winter solstice. When you see it, I'm going to ask if everyone would rise with their sun ornament on. And then when we're done with that, we have something really special. We want to incorporate movement whenever we have one of these services. So Julia Ryan has offered to lead us in a traditional sun dance. After we see the sunrise, please stay standing. Julia will come up here and she's going to lead us. And of course, participation is optional, but I think it'll be more fun if you can't participate.
Can I give a little instruction for the steps? We're just going to do a simple grapevine, which means I was hoping that we could all hold hands. I didn't know which configuration we'd be in, so I'm not quite sure if we want to go around the perimeter or are we able to do what we do at the end of our service? Okay. If everyone could hold hands, and then we do a simple grapevine, which is step to the right, step behind your right foot, step to the right, step in front of your right foot. And so it's right, behind, right, and front. And if you can't do it, then just do what we call the Solstice shuffle.
Hum-a-day, 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 hum-a-day. Yuletide comes, the old year dies, our peaceful hearts are yearning. In the deep dark winter's night, the solstice fire is burning. Celebrate the winter, Lord, merry holy King. A bonny wreath upon our door to welcome joy within. Yuletide comes, the old year dies, our peaceful hearts are yearning. In the deep dark winter's night, the solstice fire is burning. Celebrate the winter, Lord, merry holy King. A bonny wreath upon our door to welcome joy within. Yuletide comes, the old year dies, our peaceful hearts are yearning. In the deep dark winter's night, the solstice fire is burning. Celebrate the winter, Lord, merry holy King. A bonny wreath upon our door to welcome joy within. A bonny wreath upon our door to welcome joy within. A bonny wreath upon our door to welcome joy within.
We're going to release the directions now. And when we release, we move opposite the way that we went around the first time. And so we're actually going to begin with the center, then the north, and turn counterclockwise to the left. So the center, where the chalice is, guardian of the above, below, and center. Goddess, thank you for being with us and guiding our vision. Blessed be. Now the north. Guardians of the north, earth spirits, thank you for being with us and keeping us grounded. Blessed be. West. Guardians of the west, water spirits, thank you for being with us and flowing deep within us. Blessed be. South. Guardians of the south, fire spirits, thank you for being with us and burning bright. Blessed be. And east. Guardians of the east, air spirits, thank you for being with us and nourishing our spirits. Blessed be.
Just a reminder, we have a delicious luncheon out in the kitchen area if you'd like to join us, and thank you for being here.